And here we are back again. We're going to be speaking with representatives from the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation and their Ride for the Cure?
Ride to Cure.
Ride to Cure. Yeah, we're going to do it all.
Yes,
right?
we are.
And we've got two guests with us today. One is a rider. She's a first-year rider. She's over on my far, depending on how you're sitting, she's on my far left. Her name is Denise, I'm sorry, you're Denise. Michelle DiMeo, right?
Correct.
And you're a bike rider. Do you do a lot of bike riding?
As of recently, yes.
Yeah. Getting in the swing of things. Anyway.
Yeah.
Good. And Denise Nicastro here is, she's been on the show before, and she's the development director of the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, Northeast New York. Did I get it all in?
That's a lot.
That's it. But I got it all in. Tell me, how is it going?
Good.
Getting
Well, we try to call ourselves actually JDRF. It's
Okay.
easier to say.
It is.
And plus, over the years, there's actually 85% of the people living with type 1 diabetes are adults. So it's kind of unfair to call it juvenile diabetes
Oh, I see.
anymore.
That makes sense. So you actually don't focus just on juvenile.
No,
type
it's
1.
for anyone that has type 1 diabetes,
good.
which is an autoimmune disease,
And you
different
always
than
think
type 2.
that type 1 is when you're born with it, but that isn't really the truth.
No, and more and more adults are being diagnosed. There's actually
With type 1.
Yes, with type 1 diabetes, even in older years, even in their 60s.
And we've always thought type 2 was, as an adult, you got type 2.
Right.
Because your pancreas started not working quite as well.
Correct. But now we're finding out through research that more and more people in adult years are acquiring type 1 diabetes. So it's kind of scary.
Well, it is scary, and I think obesity is one of the issues that creates it, and maybe lack of exercise, which of course you're getting the bike riding to get that in there. And there's other things, medication sometimes that people take will kind of push it into the pre-diabetic stage.
Well, that's really actually just because that's where the confusion is. That is not type 1 at all.
No, I know it isn't.
Yeah,
No,
for type 2,
but I'm just saying that diabetes is diabetes, and if you've got it,
Well, all the important things, like you said, your nutrition, your exercise,
Right.
Maintaining healthy lifestyle is really contributing factors for either type 1 or type 2 to keep you healthy.
Correct.
But with type 1, your pancreas just stops working for no reason, and it's not relative to your lifestyle, just happens, which is unfortunate.
Nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Right, exactly, which is what the organization we are working for and towards finding a cure for this.
And tell me about the event, because you have a rider with you, and she's all set to get on that bike and start riding. How far, what kind of a bike ride is this, and what do they need to do to prepare?
And I know Michelle has a real passionate reason for why she's riding this year. And well, it's a cycling fundraising event. We currently have 750 people registered.
You've got 750
We do.
already.
Now, and these are people, our event happens in September.
Too, don't you do teams sometimes?
There can be teams. So this is a little bit different. There are people from all over the country that have loved ones. They have their children are affected directly by type 1 diabetes.
Right.
So they're coming and riding from all over the country, and they form bonds with other people.
Yeah, I know. Well, we have to put up with noise.
Relationships, and they come back together year after year. So there's 5.
I don't know if we're going to get through this, but they're going to try and stop.
5 rides across the country, and this year it's new in Saratoga Springs. So we have about 40 people locally from our capital district that are participating in this ride event, but 750 that are coming from all over the country to Saratoga Springs. It's a 4-day event.
And what a beautiful place to go to, right?
Well, I think that's why we were chosen. Saratoga is beautiful. It's a destination place, so people will fly in on Thursday, the 14th of September.
And that's after the race season, too.
Track season is over. It's before leaf peeping season, so it's a great time. The community in Saratoga has embraced our event coming in, and the ride itself happens on Saturday, September 16th, and the mileage distance is anything from 10 to 100 miles.
Usually, okay, so that they can, it's not a special run.
No, it really is specific. A lot of people ride their mileage relative to either how many years they've had diabetes or there's a lot of different personal reasons for it. So it's pretty unique, and it's very passionate and intimate. It's a really amazing, and we like to call it an experience. It's not just...
And it seems like this is really a way for people to get together and to bond through this. Michelle, what is your reason for getting involved? She said you've got a special reason.
I do. I have a child. He is now 4 years old.
Born?
His name is,
Born with type 1?
No, he was 17 months old when he was diagnosed.
Okay.
He's now 4. He's, relatively fairly healthy. Takes a lot of daily care.
With type 1, you're using insulin.
Yes.
Does he use a pump?
He wears a pump.
Okay.
A continuous glucose monitor.
And he's adapting pretty well to it, or
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah.
Because
if there's one fortunate thing that came out of my son being diagnosed so young, is that he'll never know any different.
That's right.
This is his life,
Yeah.
and this is how he knows life.
And foods, how does he? Because that's a problem in a way, because you go to school and I don't know if they still do. They used to bring cupcakes and things like that. And of course, there's always that problem. Somebody has a peanut allergy, but this is sugar, so sugar's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, he can have sugar.
Moderate.
With type 1, we do a lot of carb counting, carbohydrates. My son also has celiac disease. When you have one autoimmune disorder, you're susceptible to a whole string of other autoimmune disorders. So not only do we have to watch his carb intake, but we also have to make sure everything is gluten-free. So it's challenging.
So you have really a
Double
challenging,
whammy.
because your whole family then kind of doesn't have to go on that diet, but you don't want to be eating things that he can't have.
Exactly.
In front of him.
It affects the entire family. It doesn't just affect the person with type 1. The entire family is affected in some way or another.
Was this hereditary? Was there other?
No.
It just bam happened.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so that just shows that we should all be aware of this and not. And how were you able to figure out what happened? Because diabetes wasn't the first thing in your mind. If he was not
By
feeling
far.
well.
Correct. So he presented initially with flu-like symptoms. He started off with a little fever, not eating as well. Again,
And of
he was
course, you were
only
giving him the wrong
17 months.
foods, right?
Well, he was only 17 months old, so.
I don't mean that you were doing it on purpose,
Right.
but you didn't know you were giving him normal foods.
Correct. But as the week progressed, I had him in and out of the pediatric ER and his pediatrician's office 5 times in 1 week because I knew something wasn't right. He had labored breathing. He was vomiting, drinking a lot, diapers frequently changed.
Yeah.
And then at the tail end, he started sleeping a lot. I took him into his pediatrician for the day he was actually diagnosed, November 13th, 2014.
Once they made the diagnosis, you were on the path to recovery, and
Well, yeah, but it took a lot more than that before we got to that path.
point.
Yeah, he actually almost slipped into a coma from a 10-minute drive from his pediatrician to the ER.
Must have been so difficult for you.
It was
Oh my
extremely.
God. So this is what we're trying to raise money for, to see if we can find a cure. What is it when it becomes none? When
Right,
type 1
turning
becomes-
type 1 into type none.
Tonight, none, yeah. So if somebody wants to get involved with the ride, they should just go to your website?
You can go to the ride.jdrf.org
Okay.
website for more information, or call our local office. We have a staff there that are happy to answer any questions and details about it, and our number is 477-2873, and that's in 518
We'll
area
make
code.
sure that people
So,
do follow up and maybe join you on that ride, raising money. You need about $2,000 in funding that you've raised to do that. You don't have to pay it all yourself. You can get people to help you.
Absolutely.
And please do that, because we certainly don't want to hear a story like this when perhaps we could have averted some of it. Thank you so much for sharing it. Must have been very difficult for you, and
Extremely.
Yeah, terrible. So thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for being here,
Ann, for
Denise.
having
It's always
us.
good to see you. And we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about empowering Ethiopia. Stay tuned.